we are here with Dédouze. Ça va?
Hello.
And we are here to talk some about the art process, creative process.
Okay.
So I've been knowing your work from actually before it was on YouTube. I've seen tutorials. It was nice to get to know your work. And I wanted to talk about the creative process, to know the things that inspire you to start creating your references, those kinds of stuff.
Okay. I think the answer won't be super original. Like I think we all have the same references in masters in animation and drawing, like Ghibli or French illustrator Moebius. He's a French illustrator. These are some of my biggest references, and there are also modern animes and cartoons. Well, not modern animes, animes from the 80s. And in the USA, the more modern cartoons inspire me a lot, like Hilda or Steven Universe or like Adventure Times. Even I haven't seen the whole of it. There are so many episodes that I need to catch up.
Me too.
But yeah, and but Hilda is this super cute and super spit. Because yeah, I really love this animated show. And there are references we had in France now. Well, it's really a recent project, so it's weird to call it a reference because most of the time when you tell a reference, you talk about things that was released years ago. But also there is stuff that are just released right now or last year that are instant cult movies or series, and you cannot just deny it and say, "Oh no, I just watched the classics." For example, there is a French animated series that is called Samuel.
Samuel?
It's really simple. The drawings are really, really simple. But you have to watch it to get it. Because if you just watch it, you'll see, well, it's just black lines on white background. But I don't know if there is an English version. I hope they will make an English version so people can get it. So there's the references. And then I draw. But I don't necessarily like trying to replicate what I see. It's strange. Sometimes I just watch it to get the mood, because references there is also the feeling in what you see. So sometimes I have technical references like hand poses or like shapes. As I watch some fashion pictures, some clothes in fashion, or references of poses of people wearing cool stuff, and vehicles, robots, spaceships. I like sci-fi, I like commerce and drama, I like everything. So sometimes I watch these little things as the details for technical stuff, very precise stuff. But also I try to find a reference in stories and how people create worlds and how the world feels. So I try to just watch stuff, and then I stop it and I process it, and then I draw my things while I keep the feeling that I had while watching.
Cool. And you get the reference from your life also, I guess.
And also, yes, that's the most important part, because the most important part is stuff you've lived. And I've lived a lot of crazy stuff, but I noticed that it's just recently that I started to use it as a reference. So sometimes you read something and you forget it, and I forced myself to always take notes of everything I do. Sometimes I'm with friends, so they are used to it now. But in the beginning, it was really weird. They say, "What are you doing? Wait, what did you just say?" So I have like pieces of dialogues from at a birthday party or whatever, or just in a bus with a friend, and I say, "Oh, I think this means something." And I take it in on my phone, and some of it really are gonna be plots in my next stories, or they inspire me some characters. But sometimes it takes time. It's also a feeling, as when you watch an animated series or a movie, you're not really sure how to explain it or how to translate it. Sometimes I have some friends where we always have the same adventures or the same problems always. Then it becomes a theme, and then what you live in life, it become your own theme. But now I'm just talking about very specific stuff. I'm not talking about the whole philosophy of why we are doing this, but it's also important. We are not just creating stuff. There's a reason why we do this and why it's important to us.
Yeah. Sometimes we must create to survive, I guess, to process what we are living.
Yeah, that's exactly well, uh, because I also interviewed a guy, so I'm recycling what I just said. But it's better if more people know it. So the guy is named Fraser McLean. He's a very, very cool guy and very wise. He's been in the industry for many years. Like he was an animator on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, long movie, and Tarzan, old Disney movie. So he's been there for a long time. And he told me what we tell stories to say how to survive, how to live. And I remember that was not exactly what he quoted, but it reminded me that yeah, people. I'm not sure. Maybe if someone made this up, or like the cave people, the hunters before, they told stories so people remember that, oh, if I go there, maybe some danger will happen. So they tell a story like, I've been hunting, and then that lion appeared, and then I hid, and then I ran away, and finally I learned that this and this, and this is a story that people tell around the fire.
Wow.
And actually, then people remember it. Oh, that's how you lived your life. Okay, if I have to get to hunt, I will try to do that too. And it's the same thing when you tell a romance story, drama. It's the same. Someone tells a story about marriage or about how to raise kids. It's always about how to live, how to survive, and how to behave with each other.
Cool. I wanted to know, like, artists, we want to create our own stuff, but sometimes it's hard having to pay the bills and those kind of stuff. How is this challenge for you? Like, how do you find the balance?
Yes. So the way how I do it, I don't know it's the best way. Maybe it's not the best way because as you can see, I'm not a billionaire. But well, I survived like this. I have a cycle of creation and work and the efforts and like chill creation. And I use it even on a long on years or just on a day you can work too, or on weeks. For example, there is a time where you have to work to pay bills, and sometimes you have to accept stuff that you don't consider as your art. And then at some point you have enough, and you say, okay, I'm gonna take the risk and do my stuff now. And you have to develop your stuff. Some people can do both at the same time. Sometimes I do both. Like I do work for other people. It's always cool, but it's not my art. I don't feel like I'm developing my art. So I do stuff for them. Sometimes when I'm lucky, it also helps me develop my own style because I also develop my own process while I work for people. And also, I did some work that is not related to art at all. I was a web developer. I was a programmer. And actually, surprisingly, I was super productive in art when I was doing something else. And what I tell people is that some people complain like nobody gives me a chance, in the industry. I just need some producers to help me start. Well, you can see it as being your own producer. Like you become someone else, you do another job or something, and you pay the bills, you have enough money, and then that money becomes the funds for yourself. Like you just produce your own project, and then you go on your personal project and you develop it. So for me now, I'm lucky enough because I had a lot of commercial works and clients in art. But now I feel like I gotta have been working a lot for other people. Maybe it's time to go to the other side of the cycle and start to do my own stuff now. So like I don't have like big pile of money, but I have just enough to maybe start exploring things for a month. And I will see, like, I have a month to release something.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that if you worked well, I feel like I'm hiding in a cave to prepare something with the funds I got from myself or other projects, or I save doing other jobs that is not in art. I had the time to hide in a cave and develop a new story, a new style, something. So that whole style that I have now, it took like 1 year or two while doing something else, and then another year when I dropped my other project, my work, and then I developed this thing and I released it all. Well, I started progressively. Of course, people saw I was still working as a freelancer when I started it, but it was not. I was not bold enough. Like, it's just a few things, a few tries, and then I knew that it was time. I had something, and then I quit my job and I released everything. And then people told me, "Oh my God, that's amazing. We want to hire you for our own project." And then I got back to the other side, the cycle. Like, okay, back to a client now. But it was cool. And now I think I've done so much client work. I have to go back to the cave and release something else, the next step. It's a journey. So now my next project is a whole story, a whole world I've developed. So I've been working on it secretly. So I have two completed stories. So I'm rushing to release it now. Also because I cannot spend a whole year experimenting like I did before, because I had a job for a long time. So I had like a whole year to experiment. Now, shorter, I have months, but also it's a challenge. It forces me to find a style that I can help me to, like, I can use to draw fast, but not correctly at the same time.
Cool. You believe you can find some resource from Taipei, those kind of like yes, this
ITP, yes, yeah, yes, yeah, yes, yeah. So it's a place where people pay you for the things you already did. It's not a crowdfunding like you pay to get a project, but for this it's just people like help you donate. So it's like the French Patreon. So actually you can make a living of it. Some people do it. In my case, it's like it's an additional source of money. I actually paid my trip here. Like, it's not much, but when it's after 1 year, so people donate to me monthly, like just a few bucks, and at the end of the year, there's enough for me to go to Annecy. And the thing is, there's a different way to do it. There's some people who do it really like a shop, it's a whole business. And I don't mean business in a bad way, but it's the way how they live. So every month they release something for their donators, and they promise something, and they say there is like goals, like amount goals, like give to my TP, and then if you wish this amount, then I will produce this, and then we can gather like an event or something. And every month they send some little gifts to their patrons, to their tippers, how do you call that? So it's a whole business. Like every week, every day, they do something and they make a living like that. But in my case, I'm so bad at organizing stuff, at planning. So I tell them, I cannot promise you something, but if you trust me, there is always something that will happen. So I'm glad like they trusted me, because they donated for months without knowing what I was doing, because I need to hide in my cave to prepare stuff. It's crazy, because when I promise something to someone, it feels like a debt to me. I can say, I'm gonna do this, and if you pay me now, this will happen. And then I start to be terrified. My God, sometimes I do it, but I tell you, it's terrifying for me every time I do it. So like 90% of the projects are secret. Sometimes I show them pictures, but I don't promise any date or something, any release date or something, I just say, this is what's going on. And I even show it on Instagram, because I want to make everything public, what I prepare and what I show. So even if you donate to me or not, you can see on my stories that there's something going on. And the donators, they trust that maybe he will do something, maybe not. But they just give me the money. And then, a few days ago, I made an event in the middle of Annecy. I made you were there. And this is because people donated to me without knowing what I was going to do with money. And I hope I can do more surprises like this in the future. Well, it's not a promise. Oh my God, it's terrifying. I hope.
Just a hope.
But thank you. Thank you for trusting me. But even for the people who don't donate, not everybody has money to donate, so they just support and they share my stuff, they give comments and likes.
Yeah. How you decided to start sharing on YouTube or Instagram your stuff and
how did I start it? Yeah.
why do you and how do you?
How you grow channel, how you used. Well, I started just for my friends, really, in Instagram. My name, Dédouze, it's a nickname that my friends gave me. So it was not supposed to be a professional name or whatever. Now it's the name of an artist. So we are always laughing about it with my friends. I can't believe they use that nickname as an artist name. It's a silly name. It has no meaning. So now I'm signing my posters with that. So in the beginning it was just to make my friends happy. And I have a screenshot. I think it's on my Facebook, because I started on Facebook. I don't know if you still know that platform. And I remember I made and it was a long time ago. Even I was still working as a web developer, and I started just my friends posting stuff on Insta and on Facebook. And I remember I celebrated the day I had 12 followers. It was the people in the office and 2 people in the office I worked with and 10 strangers. And I say I have 10 strangers following me. Guys, can you believe that? I celebrated my 12th followers. And now years have passed and we are here.
Too late to change your name.
Yeah, but I mean, even if I didn't have followers, I would do what I do. But I have to admit, because I'm not gonna lie, that I'm happy that people follow my work, that so many people follow my work, because for me, it's important that that what I do resonates to people that are not just like me. I don't want to make art that is just for artist people or for people who. There are people who don't know Miyazaki, that go to my exhibitions. I don't want to be only doing art for people who are connoisseurs or smart people who go to a niche festivals or stuff like that.
That's nice. I see that you are connected to people in a kind sincere way. For me, I'm saying for me, it's expressing me emotions is calm, and I don't know. I just feel like home is nice to see. It's calm.
Oh, hey, thank you. You mean there is something calming in my art?
Yes.
That's one of the feelings that I want to share here. It's because there is so many things going on social networks, and what I'm trying to do is to put a place where you can feel something else. But I also like comedy and action, and so even thriller movies. I love that, but sometimes I feel that if I have to take your time, because social media is all about screening time now, the time you spend on social media, because they earn money when you stay there. And also, I need people to be there, because once I release something, I will have to tell people, hey, I released the books and I make a living with it. So I'm glad that people buy it. So I'm glad that people follow me. But if people have to follow me, I want to be it worth their time. to share something that is not just about me, like, hey, this is my life and whatever. It's not just to say I'm cool, I'm an artist, and I try to not. It's strange because I'm really proud of everything I do, but I try to not make people feel that I'm just showing off my work. I try to show this as a motivation for them to also do their own thing. Also put some scenes that are just calming, so it is worth their time. I try to make it worth people's time. Well, sometimes I know I put silly stuff online. I put some jokes or stupid things. I cannot help doing that. So sometimes
That's good. I love seeing that you share like playing music, not is like mixed media. You share your time with the animation and music and other expressions.
yeah, I'm writing stuff now.
Cool.
I'm writing because I'm writing my own story. But I also I try to respect the rules and then try to do something original, knowing the rules. That's always. Well, I saw that in a book. I did not develop that.
Cool.
But I'm self-taught. So people tell me, "Oh, you're self-taught. You're really smart." And I just read stuff, and then I try to understand stuff. Anybody can be self-taught. You just have to find the books and the YouTube tutorials. So it's not about being smart, but just applying the things you see.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not true here. But I must thank you for talking.
No problem. Thank you for this interview. I can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
We show you.